Hello everyone, I'm back. I thought today that we could go through some of my recent book buys. And when I mean recent, I mean everything bought after Christmas 2024. Now, I think I've actually done quite well in comparison to how I could have done. So we have an entire TBR cart here full of books. There was 3 levels. And we have all of these right here. But let's go through what's on the cart first. Now, I don't see why we shouldn't just get straight into this, because I'm literally just going to go through and tell you every book that I got recently that I need to read. Every new book, every TBR book, you name it, it's on here. If I've read it, I'll tell you. If I haven't read it, I've told you. But there's only one book on here I've read. I have a habit of buying books and then going, oh, but I really should read the older books on my TBR first, and then the new books become the old books. Anyway, let's go through it. Recently I bought Temple of Swoon by Joe Segura. This is a Indiana Jones inspired adventure romance and it looks really cool. Then we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is really hard to explain. So Daphne's man, Peter, falls in love with Daphne's childhood best friend Petra, and then she ends up going to the wedding anyway, even though it's her ex, and she then, I think, falls in love with Petra's ex, Miles. So her ex-husband's new wife's ex-man. That's that. Next up we have The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. This is a Knives Out style drama thriller mystery. They all gather together for a feast. Everyone thinks they're celebrating coming back together, but actually it's a deadly reunion. Just had to read it from the back. This actually is really good, and the first ever book by Lucy Foley I read recently was The Guest List, and it inspired me to grab this. We have Till Death by Buseo Mutaluko, and I can tell you when I bought this because the receipt's falling out. 18th of April 2025. And at the same time, this is a wedding thriller, by the way. Goes to her cousin's wedding, finds out cousin has been threatened. It continues. And at the same time, I also bought Lost and Lassoed and Wild and Wrangled. At the time, I couldn't find Swift and Saddled, but I now have this, which means I now have the entire Rebel Blue Branch series, and I'm very excited to get to this. I have already read Done and Dusted, and so I'm more than excited to get to Lila Sage's new books here. They're not new, they're new to me. Next up we have Hello Stranger by Catherine Centre. I absolutely adore Catherine Centre and the way she writes closed door romances. For me, it's really nice to just talk about the romance side of it. The swooning and the chasing and I just love that. And I think this story itself about overcoming something like face blindness is really, really sweet. Very much looking forward to that. Then we have The Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Qureshi. This has been on my recent purchases for a long time. I believe I bought this back in January, to be honest with you. I don't have the receipt in this one, which is weird. Oh no, it came out in 2025. I must have bought it this year. Must have bought it. That is about a woman who has a dragon cafe who is struggling to make ends meet, and a man who has a dragon who is struggling to train said dragon. So he helps her keep the cafe running and she helps him train the dragon. Then I have A Year in the Chateau by Sarah Long. This is a book that my mother lent me. This is new to me. This will be going on my shelf. No idea what it's about. I think this is very lit fic. Not my kind of thing, but I'm kind of excited to see one day if I will get to it recently. Hopefully soon, actually. From what Mum said, it sounds really good. We also have The Dead Romantics. This is not a new book to anybody. It's certainly not a new book to me, but it's new for my collection. This is by Ashley Poston, and this is one of her first books, I think. I don't know if it is her first or one of her first. This is 2022, so I have no idea. Woman, I think, falls in love with a ghost. Yes, woman falls in love with a ghost, hence the reason it's called Dead Romantics. I've heard so many people talk about this, and I found it in the local charity shop, and of course was like, oh wow, £3.99? Get in my basket. Absolutely I will. I don't know if I've read anything else by Ashley Poston. You guys can probably tell me that, to be honest. I know I've read stuff by Ashley Winstead, but I don't know if I've read anything by Ashley Poston. Surely. Well, I've got to check now, really, haven't I? Whoa, nearly dropped my book. My phone. No, I haven't, but she also wrote The 7-Year Slip and a novel log story. A novel love story, and Sounds Like Love. Yeah, turns out I've not actually read anything by her, but that's totally okay. She is not an author I have ever gone for. I have read something by her in the Improbable Meet Cute series, a little novella by her, but that's it. Then we have Problematic Summer Romance by Ellie Hazelwood. Loved this. This is the only one I have read. Read this over my summer holiday. in España, and it was fantastic. I did really love this. I believe I rated this 4 stars. I think I only rated it 4 stars because I was a little bit like, I think it was the age gap that got me. I don't mind an age gap, but this was quite a significant age gap, and it was more of the case that like he'd spent so long putting Maya down that she was a child when she's 23, and I just think, coming from a grown man, do better. Do you know what I mean? 18, yeah, child. 23, not child. Do you know what I mean? I think it just irritated me. That's why it was only 4 stars. I could be wrong and I could have rated it 5 stars. And if that's the case, then ignore everything I've just said. But that's Ali Hazelwood. And this is the second in the Not in Love duology. They're not really linked, they're like interconnected standalones. But this is Maya, who is the brother of Eli, who is the main character in Not in Love, which is hidden in here somewhere. I'm gonna have to start putting these somewhere else. We then have Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. This is the second in the Lakefront Billionaire series. I read Love Redesigned, and it's in a video somewhere, I'm sure of it, and I didn't like it. So you're probably thinking, just why'd you buy the second book then? Actually, I bought the second book because one, it was only £5, and for some reason when I checked the other day on Kindle it was like £12. Come off it. Thirdly, the characters in this book and their story sound much more enticing than Julian and Dahlia in Love Redesigned. That one went on a bit too long. Now, I know this is also a longer book, this is bigger, but my mother would like to borrow it and she'd like to read the Lakefront Billionaire series along with the Dreamland Billionaire series, so that is what I did. I bought this so that she could borrow it and read it first, and then it's just on my shelf. It was only £5 from the works. Sue me! Then we have Arch Enemies by Marissa Myers, paired with Renegades by Marissa Myers. This is a YA dystopian fantasy about superheroes and anarchists and the renegade group and fighting for what's right. This is a limited edition I got for like £1.50 at the charity shop, and in the same breath I also got Arch Enemies, the second book in the series, for £1.50 at the charity shop. Mega happy. I do love a bit of a YA because sometimes they're really fast paced and they kind of just, if I'm reading something serious or I'm in a slump, this is the sort of thing I'll go for. Next up I have Whiskey Business by Elliot Fletcher. Oh, this is written by a man! That's exciting! I don't have a lot of books written by men, so that's really cool. Whiskey Business is a book I thought that I had heard of previously, and I hadn't, and was then very excited when it was only £3 at my local garden centre. One flirty Hollywood actress, one grumpy Scottish Islander, one magnetic connection. Tell me that doesn't sound interesting. It's just a little romance, I keep telling myself every time I put them in my basket. Next up we have The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I'm not gonna lie, also found this at a charity shop, and I tried to listen to it in an audiobook format from Libby the other week and I could not get along with it. I don't know if it was because I don't like the thought of hunting, or for some reason this book just didn't sound good in audiobook. I know not every book is worth listening to, but I know that Lucy Foley's writing is good. So I'm hoping that reading it will be a bit different. Now, I thought I already owned The Hunting Party, but I have no anywhere. We then have Flawless by Elsie Silver. I also found this for £2 at my local charity shop. I've not read this before, but I know it's a cowboy romance, and I know a lot of my fellow booktube girlies are raving over the Chestnut Springs series, and so I felt like it would be rude if I didn't get it. It would be rude if I didn't. And I bought this, ready, receipts in here, told you I always do this. 15th of August, so not that long ago. That is Flawless by Elsie Silver. I have another of Elsie Silver's books somewhere. I believe it's Wild Love. Haven't got to that yet either. Next up from the charity shop, or should I say the garden centre, It's Never Been Shipped by Alicia Thompson. I'm not entirely sure what this is, but it's a floppy book. It has a playlist at the start, so who wouldn't want to read a playlist? Oh, it looks like I bought this from Asda. Very nice. When did I buy it? That's the question. The 28th of June this year. So this is a band reunion, may be enough to change 2 musicians' tunes on love in this electric romance. That sounds pretty cool. And they are stuck on a ship. This is by the same author as Love in the Time of Serial Killers, which I have never gotten around to reading, but I know Alicia Thompson writes good stuff, so. Then we have Scythe and Sparrow, third in the Ruinous Love trilogy by Bryn Weaver. Never got around to it. Really should, because she's bringing out Tourist season soon, which is, I think, a new trilogy or duology, and my goodness, I'm so excited to read that because her first 2 books, Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark, were absolutely phenomenal. And I feel like the minute I get around to it, I'm just going to read it super quickly. So, and then something out of my comfort zone is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Again, another male author that I forgot I had. Ben and I have, I say recently, maybe not recently, but over the past year or so become more and more obsessed with the Alien franchise. Alien Earth has just recently come out and we've started watching that. We've watched all of the Prometheus, Covenant, we've watched Predator, Alien. We're thinking about going on to the Blade Runner because we know that's in the same series. But I digress. The point of me saying that is that I'm getting more and more into sci-fi, and I keep thinking, like, if Alien was a book, I'd so read it. And so I bought Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is in fact actually becoming... Sidetracked, didn't know he wrote The Martian. That's really cool. Have seen that, cried through that whole film. What I was going to say was I do believe that this is becoming a movie or a series soon, and so I would like to read this before that comes out. Next up, again in a nice big group, we have Hannah Bonham Young. So I have the Next of Kin. Woman takes on her baby brother, I believe, baby sister, after not wanting her to go into foster care, and her neighbour across the hallway helps her out and they probably fall in love. Then in that same series I have Next to You. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have no idea what this one is about. I just know it was the standalone sequel to Next of Kin, and so I thought I'll get them both. It was £3 from the works. Then I have Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. This is about a married couple who go on a retreat to kind of re-strengthen their marriage. I don't believe it's like a breakup story and then a finding each other story. I believe they are just like falling out of love or falling apart or drifting apart, and so they go on a camping trip in the woods just to solidify and relearn and re-love each other, which I think is really sweet. Never read a book like that before. Also, gorgeous sprayed edges. Then we have Lord of Shadows, and I have Queen of Air and Darkness. So we have Lord of Shadows, which is the second in the Dark Artifices series. This is the next series that I've got to read in the Cassandra Clare, like, what's it called? Shadowhunter multiverse. Also found out recently that she's about to release 3 more books over the next 3 years, which I'm rather upset about because actually it's going to take me 3 more years to read all 3 of the Dark Artifices and all 3 of the Last Hour. Also didn't realise how many stickers I'd left on the books I owned. So that is Lord of Shadows, that is the second book. And then we also have Queen of Air and Darkness, this whopper of a book, which is the 3rd book in the Dark Artifices book. And these were buy one get one half price. So obviously I bought them down in Norfolk, in Cromer. They had a gorgeous, gorgeous bookshop. So I went in there. I'm looking forward to reading these because I do love the Shadowhunter universe. I just don't love how small the writing is and how big the books are. Gerald's was the place I went to buy the books. Gerald's. Then we have Hot Hex Boyfriend by Carly Bloom. This was a quick, judged by the cover book purchase from the works. There you go. And that's when I bought Love and Written Next to You as well in the same purchase. So that was only the other day. These are my most recent books. Now this is about a lady called Delia Merriweather, who should have got magic when she was younger, didn't. Grows up to be a woman, still doesn't have magic, loses her belief in it, and then I believe she starts falling in love, something happens, she gets her magic. I just love a witchy romance, and considering we're coming into September, August, this is the perfect time to read these. So hopefully, we'll have that soon. Next up we have The Only Light Left Burning. This is by Eric J. Brown, and it is the second book sequel to All That's Left in the World, which I read earlier this year. This is about Jamie and Andrew, who are 2 queer boys who are left to fend for themselves after the apocalypse happened. I won't go into it too much because I actually do think that you should all go and read All That's Left in the World. It is very good, but this is basically the sequel to what happens in All That's Left in the World, and I'm very excited to get to this. Now we just have these left. I'm very excited to talk to you about some of these. This is Accomplice to the Villain. I can't tell you how long I've been waiting for this. This came out on the 7th of August and I got it at 5 o'clock on the evening of the 7th of August. I absolutely adored Assistant to the Villain and Apprentice to the Villain. They were incredible. This I have to read soon. I have to read soon. I don't know why it's not in my September TBR, but I couldn't pick it. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get the chance to read it. If you haven't yet, go and read Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayera. Please correct me in the comments. These books are comical, fantasy, magical realism, romance, sitcom style reading, and they are absolutely hilarious, so go read. Then we have The Witcher. by Andrzej Sapkowski. Please tell me if I've read that wrong. I know that might not be correct. This is the first book in the Witcher series called The Blood of Elves. I have been meaning to read the Witcher series for ages. Ben keeps telling me to read it as he has watched it. So I went and bought it. I finally found it and it's super floppy. Super floppy. I also feel like this, having read stuff about this book, this is definitely a fantasy that I am gonna get into well. And it's a translated works, so hopefully maybe it comes up on my TBR jar. Next up we have Stolen Air by Holly Black. Yes, I read the Cruel Prince trilogy ages ago. Never got the chance to... Oh my god. So I bought this back in January 2025. I also bought Beg, Borrow and Steal by Sarah Adams, and at the time Ben had to renew his driving licence and we lost the photos he took. I've just found them inside my book. Ooh, anyway, loved the Cruel Prince trilogy. I also have read The Dark Forest or something by Holly Black, and so I just feel like I'd love to see what happens to, what's his name? Oak when he grows up, and I'm quite excited. The only thing I'm worried about is that when I did reread The Cruel Prince, it ruined the trilogy for me, so I think maybe that's why I keep putting this off, but we'll see. Next up we have Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is the Last Hours book 1. This is the one I was telling you about. This is not until after the Dark Artificer series though, so that's totally okay. This one I bought from Waterstones. I'll tell you when. 10th of April 2025. It's gorgeous, it's absolutely stunning, and it's a little bit more floppy than the other books. I am very excited because this one is about the Carstairs side of the story. So many books, so many books. I have these Hollow Vows, I got this last Christmas. I'm adding it in there because I am so excited to get to this, and I think because this is such an anticipated book for me, I keep putting off, and this is by Lexi Ryan. I know she's got 2 or 3 more books out in this series now, which means I need to get a grip of myself and read it. Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. If you were watching my videos back in February, I was supposed to read this for a romance book style video and I didn't get to it. I also accidentally bought it early because my local WH Smiths put it out on the shelves before it was publishing day. But I have stayed true to my word and I said I wouldn't read it until after publishing day, and I still haven't read it, and we're now in August. So that's Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This is a sports/STEM romance. Slightly different to her usual stuff. Then we have We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. This is his new series, completely separate from the Thursday Murder Club. I don't know if there'll be another book out soon. I kind of hope so. I love the fact that his font is so big because it's so nice to read, and this is very much a cozy mystery. Oh, my camera's getting wet. Next up is The Crash by Frida McFadden. 8 months pregnant, she is gets in her car, runs away, crashes, broken ankle, not doing well. Gets help from an elderly couple. Turns out it's not as good as it seems. This is classic thriller and I love it. Then we have Do Not Disturb by Frida McFadden. A lady called Quinn is running away from a crime she committed and she ends up running to a local motel. She gets a very lovely room and it turns into a horror story. Next up we have Murder Before Evensong by the Reverend Richard Coles. This is very similar to the Thursday Murder Club series by Richard Osman. This is very much a cozy mystery, and for that exact reason is why I want to read it. We then have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and I have been told by a few of you guys that I need to read Part of Your World or Yours Truly first. I think that this is interconnected with that, hence the reason I have not read it yet, because every time I go into a bookshop they do not have Yours Truly or Part of Your World. And they have a box set, but I don't need this book twice. So it looks like it's going to be a Kindle buy. We then have Spiral by Bal Cabra. This is the sequel to Collide, which was her first book. Both sports romances. I think they're very like Icebreaker, Wildfire, Daydream-esque, which is the reason I wanted to read it. Collide was so good. It was really, really good. And they're quite short and snappy, which is nice. I then have First Time Caller by BK Borison. Now I know that she's just released the second in this series. I think it's called like Over to You or something like that. Keeping the same kind of theme. I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but I'm trying to keep it that way. I've definitely read the back of it once, but I want to go into books a little bit more blind, just to kind of test myself and push myself a little bit. So that is the plan with this one. I loved BK Borison's Love Like Farms series, and so if her writing in this is anything like her writing in that, then we are good to go. And last but not least, we have my very first Lynn Painter book, which is Better Than the Movies. This is the one I believe I just picked up because I liked it. I don't know if this is the start of that kind of series, not entirely sure, but we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I've never read any of her stuff. I very well may have read something in the Impossible Meet Cute series or one of those little mini series that you find on Prime on Kindle, but I have no idea. So we have that. And I thought that was last, but turns out it's not, because I've just found another one. We have Holly Jackson's brand new book, Not Quite Dead Yet. The hardest murder to solve is your own. I'm really struggling with my speech today, so sorry. This is, I got the hardback because it's not often I buy a hardback, and I love Holly Jackson's books. I will put a card up here for my Holly Jackson review video. Obviously at some point I'm going to have to do a new one because she's brought out a new book. The last one by her, the reappearance of Rachel Price, I didn't enjoy all that much compared to Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Killjoy, but I gave it a chance. Oh, and Five Survive. Adored that one. If this is anything like that, then love it. And Frida McFadden said something about it, so how can I not read it? This is also Ali Good's Fables Reading Club pick for August, and so I've got to get going. I've not started it yet, so that's great. This is obviously filmed way in advance, so that's why. You will be seeing this either very end of August or beginning of September. I'm not sure, but we have all of these books here. I missed one! Do you know what? After this one, I'm just going to have to stop because there must be more. But we have Emily Wild's Encyclopedia of Fairies. People have been raving about this to me for years, and I have never got it. And now I have it, and I still haven't read it, but the plan is to read it at some point. This is a very kind of like whimsical fantasy, which I love. Something easy. This kind of reminded me of The Cruel Prince in that sort of sense, with the little doodles at the beginning of the chapters. But this is the last book that I have bought recently, and by recently I mean over the past 6 months. I am going to have to buy a new bookshelf because this gap here is the only gap I have in my shelves. Oh, and that little one up there, that is it, that is it. I have no more space. So we're gonna have to get another slim Billy bookshelf to stand over here. And I just hope that my stepdaughter Piper doesn't mind because this is her room as well. Yes, I have a lot of new books. I didn't count them, but there will be a counter on the screen. Help me with my book addiction by tuning in and supporting me with my TBR Takedown series, which starts this month, this September. I will be reading all of these new books plus anything old that I decide that I fancy, and I will not be buying any books for 10 weeks. That includes Kindle and physical books. I will not be buying any new books with my own money. I will not be buying any books with Ben's money. I will not be buying any books, full stop. I need to take a break. I need to put myself on a book buying ban, and I need to thoroughly enjoy all of these fantastic books that I've bought, especially the ones that have come out recently that have just been shoved on my shelf because I'm in a reading slump. I am currently in a reading slump, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'll figure it out. I feel like I've just gone 1,000 miles an hour with that video, but there's nothing better than a quick, sharp, snappy book haul. Take a deep breath, Jessica. Take a deep breath. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, supporting me, subscribing, liking, being here. I appreciate every single one of you, and I believe I've mentioned it in a previous video, but I am starting some Friday night, potentially Friday night, reading sprints for maybe 2 or 3 hours of the evening where you can sit with me and we can get cozy and we can enjoy reading together. We can make sure that we give ourselves time to enjoy our hobby. There will be questions, there will be discussions, so I will pop a community post up so you can see that. Also head over to my Instagram, which I will link down below, to see anything upcoming about that too. And head down to my Goodreads if you want any inspiration for other books. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am thoroughly enjoying getting back into this. So hopefully I shall see you next week for the first episode of Jessica's TBR Takedown. See you soon.